This definitely was not the one
What
that
did he
played
play?
today.
Yeah, he played more rock and roll version. That's definitely his entrance. I can promise you that's definitely his entrance. I literally told you, you asked me like, hey, what's this level of Spanish?
I mean, no, his promo was alright.
Yeah. Yeah. When he started talking Spanish, yeah, it was good, but like,
No, yeah, obviously his Spanish was a lot better, but
but like,
his English was solid.
yeah, he tried.
It was solid.
You know, he didn't. He just completely ignored Jackie Redmond. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, fuck it. Fuck it. We'll get into more of that later. It was interesting though. It was definitely an interesting way to kind of, in a way, I feel like this was more of the official start to Raw on Netflix because last week was just kind of this weird celebration of wrestling PLE, but not actually a PLE kind of a thing. Like it was its own separate event.
Yeah.
This felt much more like just an episode of Raw, which
But a good episode of Raw.
no,
Just
yeah,
like two
absolutely, a
solid-ass
really
episodes,
exciting
I guess you
episode
could
with
say.
some really good matches, but I feel like this was our first look at how the weekly episodes are actually gonna look, and I really liked it. I thought it was really solid. Um, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year in professional wrestling, and with that on the mind, with it being early in the year and everything, I wanted to take a look ahead. We took a look into our crystal balls, and we.
Okay.
Okay. And we're gonna figure out what
Okay.
is gonna be the biggest things that we see in our balls for 2025 in WWE. So, Luis, I'm gonna pass the ball over to you.
Interesting. Okay.
Because the first prediction I have on the list here was one that you gave me. Dirty Dom to win either the United States or Intercontinental Championship.
We're starting from. Okay.
I'd put them in an order that I liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, talk to me about Dirty Dom.
Bro, that shit's interesting. How everything is going with this little storyline, bro. With Liv and everything. That shit's not gonna last forever. You see how he's falling out with Finn a little bit too, bro.
Well, that's been happening for a minute, yeah.
They're planting the little seeds that's gonna definitely probably happen sometime soon. So who knows, bro? I feel like that fool's just gonna drift solo for a little bit, but still be like a little rat and shit.
You think it's possible for him to break off from
Judgment Day
without someone having to turn babyface? Like, how does everyone break apart but everyone stays heel?
I don't
is
know.
My question to you.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting what type of route they take him because everybody he's funny as fuck. I don't know if you've seen him, but that was like pretty.
No, for
funny.
sure.
Yeah.
But he's also just like so good as a heel. I don't think you should change that, and I don't even know if you could because the live audiences love to boo him so much. Like, so have you thought about how you would pull off the Dom break off?
That was just gonna fall out, bro.
Okay.
He's just probably just gonna drift, bro. That was just gonna start doing fucking random ass shit, bro. And trying to prove himself right. He's probably gonna get in a little beef with Ray again or some shit, bro.
I feel like they've gone to that so much. Like,
It's
I don't
just
feel
gonna
like
be natural for him, bro.
I don't know. So, you think he wins the title as a heel?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. And without the Judgment Day.
It's probably gonna be almost like a heel that the crowd is behind and shit. I feel like the crowd is probably gonna turn around a little bit first. Because they're probably gonna show more of him and shit like that.
Maybe.
We'll see, bro.
They love to boo him so much.
Yeah,
I don't know if I feel
That's
this,
the thing,
bruh.
We'll see.
I don't know if I feel this one. I like some of it. I could see them putting some gold on Dom finally because it feels like that's been kind of overdue
Besides
for a
the
while
fucking North
now.
American
Well, yeah.
Championship
I
or
mean,
whatever.
on the main roster. Yeah, on the main roster. But I feel like it's gonna be interesting to me to see if they do it. I do see the Judgment Day breaking up pretty soon, but I still think Liv and Dom and Raquel are gonna be together as kind of a trio. And then Finn and JD will still be kind of homies, and Carlito will probably be the one that ends up just floating off, doing random side quests and shit. But I feel like there's still gonna be some allegiances from the split off Judgment Day.
Dom's gonna be sitting there kissing up at to Liv this whole time, man.
I don't know about for the full year, but at least for the foreseeable future. I don't think any time in the near future. Like by WrestleMania, I feel like they're probably still together. Just because I feel like that would be a lot happening at once for Liv. Like it just throws everyone into such wild directions. And I feel like Liv and Dom still works really well, like with the crowd and like just in stories in general. Like I feel like the only thing people were getting somewhat tired of was them feuding with Rhea and Damian constantly. But I don't think anyone had an issue with Liv and Dom as a couple. If anything, like they're just both so good as heels. I feel like they just work together. That's why I'm like kind of pushing back on that part. Like I don't know how soon I would be to break Dom off and make him go totally solo. But I do feel a lot of the elements of what you're saying. Like I like the Judgment Day itself kind of breaking apart. I like Dom getting some gold around his waist this year. I think there are parts of it. But Dom going fully solo is just, that becomes pretty complicated.
Do you think he still needs to be playing around and shit like that with Liv and shit?
I just think it works for his character so well. Like, I don't know why you stop that while it's still working so well right now. And again, like I said, I don't know how you navigate that breakup without one of them kind of having to be in the more like sympathetic role.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I don't know if that's a can of worms you want to open right now. I feel like you just gotta let them be the evil heel, you love to hate them couple for now.
I'm dead.
You know? I don't know. I just feel like they work so well together for now. I would not be in a rush to break all of that off. But I like a lot of it though. We'll move on to my first prediction here. I wanted to dip down to NXT for at least one of these and talk about something that could be interesting from like call-ups and stuff like that. Because I think last year we saw that in the Triple H era, the NXT call-ups are going to be taken very seriously. We've seen a few people get some really significant pushes. I think we could have seen more if it wasn't for like injuries and stuff like that to Ilya Dragunov, shit like that. But we've also seen some of those go really bad. Some of the call-ups ending up in people getting released pretty quickly after. So it's been kind of a mixed bag. But I do think that there's real potential for the talent coming up to the main roster. And I think Ethan Page will be the one that separates himself this year as
They're gonna pull him up.
I think he will get called up at some point this year, and I feel like he will be the call-up of the year. I just feel like he was already kind of main roster ready when he came over. He had a very extensive history in AEW working on television. Like, he wasn't green in any sense, I don't think. It was just more so to get him acclimated to the WWE fan base and stuff like that. And I think it's worked really well. Like, so far, his run on NXT has been fucking awesome. But I don't feel like he needs to stay down there much longer. Like, NXT is really stacked right now, too, to where, like, it's almost like you don't want to be taking up space in the main event for too long. If you feel like someone is ready to pull him up, you should. And I feel like Ethan Page is one of those guys that, especially his work as a heel, is something that I think is really needed on the men's side of on the main roster. I feel like those like really good, funny, charismatic heels are something that we don't have enough of. Like, look at how Drew McIntyre's career literally transformed over the last year by being such a great heel. I feel like it's because there's so few and far between in WWE. Like, Gunther's another one that people absolutely love. Like, if you could pull off being a really interesting, entertaining heel, you're gonna be in the main event for a while. Because look at how many top-level baby faces there are. I could go on for fucking ever. You know what I mean? Like, on the men's side of things, in the main event scene, there's baby faces for fucking days. That's why I was so happy KO turned heel. Because we need more main event level heels that aren't named like Roman Reigns and stuff, even though I know he's kind of a tweener right now. But like guys, like when it's guys like the final boss or whoever that only work so many dates throughout the year, like it's tough. You want guys who can be there consistently to be the asshole to give your babyface something to try and overcome. And I feel like Ethan Page, because of how charismatic he is as a heel, could be thrusted right into the main event picture, kind of like out of necessity. It's like we need someone who's funny as hell, is a good worker, who can be a good heel, and just put on really good matches and good storylines. I feel like, who knows, we could see Ethan Page by the end of the year with a US or IC title run or something like that. I could see a Money in the Bank potentially if he gets called up sometime soon. Like, I think the Royal Rumble could open some doors, hopefully, from NXT and bring some guys up to the main roster. Because it was around this time last year. It's usually right before or right after Mania season, I feel like, that you get some NXT call-ups. And so I'm hoping sometime pretty soon, within the next few months, we get some guys and girls starting to come up and make some moves on the main roster. And I think Ethan Page will be the NXT call-up of the year.
That's an interesting shout. I respect it because Luke has won titles so far this year.
You know? It's clearly a viable path to get to the main event. If you succeed really well in developmental, come up to the main roster and get over, you know, there's a lot of opportunities there for you, clearly.
That's crazy to think. A lot of honestly, these past 2 years, NXT call-ups are champions right now.
Yeah.
On the main roster.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna get to a point pretty soon
That's
where...
fucking wild, bro.
We're kind of there now. I would say...
Only the two main belts are basically the ones that are not held by, like, an NXT person. Besides in the women's divisions.
That's what I was going to say, is a vast majority of the talent just on the roster in general at least had some sort of history in NXT, even if they didn't necessarily get their start. Like, there's kind of a difference between the PC babies or whatever people call it, the people who kind of got their introduction to wrestling through WWE and the NIL programs and stuff like that. And then you got your Kevin Steens and El Genericos that were tearing up Ring of Honor and shit like that and get brought into NXT with a lot of hype. But still, they still count as NXT guys because they both came up through NXT at one point or another. So when you look at the full roster through that lens, like a vast majority of the roster has been through the NXT system to some extent. So it's definitely Cody is one of the rare cases of being a top level guy that has zero NXT experience. But I mean, it's a credit to the developmental system. It's extremely strong, bro. Like, to me, it's the thing that makes me so confident that wrestling is going to stay good for a long time, and we're not going to go back to the dark ages of the 2010s that we had, because the system just works so well. Like, there's always another star that's brewing, and, you know, if you don't pay as much attention to NXT, you'll be introduced when they come onto the main roster, and if you're watching NXT, you're seeing them kind of come up through the ranks. Like, it's a really exciting time to be a wrestling fan because it just feels like the stars are never ending right now. There constantly is a new talent to get excited about somewhere, so it's great.
Quick pause, y'all. Quick pause.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, yeah, we were talking about NXT. Everybody coming up.
I mean, we were pretty much done on that. I think we can move on to the next one we had on here, which was something that you had sent over. Jade Cargill will be
a championship at some point this year.
WWE Women's Champion is what you sent me specifically by the end of the year. So, are you going to say Women's Champion or Heavyweight Champion?
No, Women's Championship. WWE Women's Championship.
Okay. And so I'm assuming that obviously means that the breakup with Bianca is going to
definitely happen.
And who is the good guy? Who is the bad guy?
I think I might see a Bianca face. heel turn, bro.
I just don't see it.
I don't know. The whole thing with the who attacked Jade Cargill is just getting sus, bro. And like kind of like Bianca's just not playing like detective or anything like that. She's just trying to get herself into matches and shit like that.
I mean, what is she supposed to do?
Figure out who the fuck.
She's not Sherlock Holmes.
Bruh.
She's not Sherlock Holmes.
So she's just not supposed to care, bro.
She cares. She still talks about it. Like, it's still a thing. But, I mean, obviously, yeah, like, it's a mystery.
Nah, bro.
It's a mystery, bro.
There's no fucking way it's just like it's carrying on this fucking long, bro. Who attacked her, bro?
I'm not gonna lie.
It's ridiculous it's been this long.
It's kind of fucking annoying that it's been this long.
Because, bro...
It's kind of that Triple H shit that be pissing me off
No, it's
sometimes.
not even, bro. It's just why. It's just like...
No, it's that Triple H shit that be pissing me off. That will be
like,
taking too fucking long to pull the trigger on shit.
It should have been just Bianca figuring out, like, watching footage or some shit like that.
It didn't even have to be watching footage. It could have just been someone admitting it, like coming like forward and saying, or like them figuring it out somehow. I don't fucking know, but they just needed to give us something by now, bro. Like, it's been way too just left alone at this point. The shit is frustrating.
It's like almost the shit that they're doing. I like how they're playing it better with the tag team championships on SmackDown. Of course, you know who fucking attacked the fucking... What's their faces? I'm blanking.
I know what you're talking about.
I know, yeah, that DIY attacked the fucking those who's to get the fucking chance to fucking win the title and shit.
Street Profits?
Yeah, the Street Profits. There you go.
Yeah. No, I know yeah. But fucking,
They're playing that way better, though, instead of just being like, oh, who fucking attacked?
The thing that I just don't see it is because I feel like Bianca is so just naturally babyface. And I feel like Jade is just naturally heel. Like, I feel like you're trying to reinvent the wheel over here by trying to flip them from what their natural roles should be.
So how would be the only fucking plausible way that they're gonna fucking turn against each other? What?
Well, I mean,
Jade's just gonna come back and be on her heel. She's like, oh, you replaced me, you done this and shit like that.
This whole time, I've been saying it was Naomi. I still think I'm right. It ends up being that Naomi did it. Bianca is just the fool for letting it slip under her nose. Not a bad guy, but just dumb.
Do you think Jade is gonna hold that against her?
And Jade is gonna come back and go on a tear and say, you forgot me, you blah blah blah, you this, that, and the other. And she's just gonna start attacking the shit out of people. And she'll be one of those heels that is very common in Triple H's booking style, where like she's a heel in the sense that she like doesn't play by the rules in matches and goes after the baby faces, but she's justified in her motivations because like she kind of did just get forgotten about and left behind by her partner and whatnot. So I'll be very interested to see how that character plays out, but I'm very confident that that's how it should play out. I don't know if that's how it will play out because I'm not there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that's how it should play out. I think that's the best way to navigate the breakup and the whole who attacked Jade situation and wrap it all up together nicely. And heel Naomi would be awesome as just like a side tangent
how would
from
that work though?
Because she's hilarious. So just imagine her talking shit. Oh, it'd be great.
But like she wouldn't do that glow shit no more though.
Don't need to.
That's too.
Don't need to.
So
it's not over anyways. If we could be totally brutally honest, the whole glow thing. No one cares. It's not yeet. Like no one cares. It's not a great gimmick. It's not a great gimmick.
You think she's gonna completely drop that?
Why not?
Start a whole new heel gimmick.
Why not? Because I think she's got the personality to carry it. 100%. She's fucking funny, bro. I feel like she'd be a great... The problem is she's naturally very funny, I feel like, a lot of times. And so you'd have to tone that down and be a bit more insulting. But I don't doubt that... I think she could pull it off.
I don't know about that one,
I think she could pull it off.
That one's wild.
You know, she's technically a part of the bloodline, right? Like, dude, she's been understanding how to do this heel shit. The only thing I say is
because, like, Bianca has been heel before, but Naomi never has.
But I feel like it didn't fully translate with Bianca. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about that as, like, being a goated heel run. I feel like people appreciate Bianca more. I feel like Bianca seems more comfortable from the outside looking in as a babyface. It just feels. That's why I said she's a natural babyface. It just feels like it just is her character. It just works. And I feel like Jade has that natural heel energy, that I'm better than you energy. That's heel energy to me. And so to me, it just so naturally makes sense that you would go in that direction. I feel like it's the natural way that this breakup should go.
I don't know.
We've gone down an interesting tangent here. I do like your call, though. Your original prediction of Jade Cargill being a women's champion by the end of the year, I think, is a very strong prediction.
It's gonna happen, bro.
I do think it's a strong prediction. Because she's just been presented as such a star ever since she debuted.
Definitely my prediction is gonna be she's gonna win it against Charlotte Flair. It's like it's gonna have to happen.
So you think Charlotte wins it from Tiffany then?
Yeah,
and then Jade wins it from Charlotte. Okay, so that's a bonus prediction.
Because Jade was probably gonna be handling Bianca at Mania. That's probably gonna be one of the big.
So when does Jade return then? Like Rumble or
probably
surprise
honestly,
Rumble return?
Rumble, yeah.
Honestly, I think that'd be pretty hype. Because that's where she debuted last year. So that'd be a
yeah.
hype little return, low key. I'm down. Okay. Some of the stuff you said I disagreed with, because I still don't think that Bianca should go heel and Jade should go face. But everything else, again, there's like a couple little parts of your predictions I'm nitpicking, but your overall vision, I'm fucking with. I'm just a nitpicker, you know me. I'm gonna like dig into the details of all your shit and pick it apart. But your overall vision, I'm fucking with heavy. I am fucking with heavy. And unfortunately, I gotta get negative. But then positive. Hear me out. This one was one that I submitted here. John Cena will not win the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
He will not win the Elimination Chamber. He will have a match at WrestleMania, but not a title match.
Mm-hmm.
Just some big dream match or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He'll win it at Mania, but not for the title. Continue to have some bigger wins throughout the year, but then when it comes to those big ones for the gold, he'll come up short until his final match, where he wins the 17th championship in his final match, retires as a champion, and vacates the belt. But then, for the rest of all of eternity in wrestling, the line, the champ is here, will hold weight. Because he will have retired as a champion. And so he's a forever champion. We talked about a bit how we felt like the Cena run could play out. We threw out a couple different theories and stuff like that. And as I molded over, this was my favorite.
Your favorite theory, okay.
Because it tells a continuous story throughout the year.
See, that's literally what you're calling him retiring as champion.
My thing is this.
And vacates the belt.
That's what I think should...
That's what he's going to do. He's probably going to put like his armbands and put the belt in the middle and just dip like that.
I think that's the poetic way to do it.
Bro, exactly.
So can I tell you why? Because if you have him win the Rumble, which I'll be real, when I was fucking at the show in LA, he comes out, does the whole thing, announces he's going to be in the Rumble, of course. So I'm driving home in traffic that night. I'm thinking, I want to see Papa Cena at the end of the fucking Rumble holding his hand. Like, I want to see him win the Royal Rumble. That'd be awesome. I want to see him in the main event at Mania. Cena versus Cody. Oh my god. This is like Rock versus fucking Hogan. This is going to be amazing. Blah, 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 blah.
That would be intense.
But then I really get to thinking. And yes, that would be amazing. I get that. But my fear is that we jump the shark a little early. Like, if Cena wins number 17 in April at Mania, or even at, like, SummerSlam or something, if he wins it relatively early into this run, then the whole rest of the farewell tour really just becomes, like, well, bye.
The champ's last run, bro.
Which, like, that would still be entertaining, of course. Like, I'm not trying to say that would be bad. I just think a more entertaining way to do it would be to build suspense throughout on the way to that.
Just keep breaking our hearts over and over again, bro.
You gotta be very careful. That's why I said you gotta sprinkle in big wins throughout. to make him still feel like a legit threat and make it
Like
still
him when
exciting.
This shot in the fucking elimination chamber or some shit.
And you gotta get creative with how he...
Make him get in the last 3 of the Royal Rumble or some shit.
Exactly. You gotta get creative with how he loses, too. Like, some of them should just be straight-up losses where, you know, he'll come out next time on Raw or whatever, you know, the better man won, but I get back up and keep fighting because I never give up. You can't see me. All that great stuff. And then sometimes you gotta pull out some interference and stuff to kind of protect him here and there. Like, you gotta get creative with it to make sure that it doesn't get to feeling stale. Because, like, it'll feel obvious when we're getting to the end. But if it's booked properly to where, even though it feels obvious, it has that, like, sense of potentially not happening. Like, I don't know. I think there's...
So how is he gonna get said title match for his last match? How is he gonna earn it then?
That's why I say you gotta get creative. Like, you gotta throw out something where... some type of storyline where he could get somehow involved with the champ and find a way to make it to where he can try and fucking get some sort of stipulation, get it to a tournament or something. Like, there's always a way in wrestling. The good old tournament, number one contenders tournament, is always the get out of jail free card for a booker, I feel like. There's a lot of different ways I feel like you could make that work. But I just think that, I guess my main part of the prediction is that he will not win the Rumble, doesn't get the win at Chamber, like, doesn't get the Mania title match, and then goes on from there hunting it down until his last match. And then retires champ.
Crazy, but I see it at the same time.
I just feel like that...
Crazy, but I see it.
That, to me, would be a pretty fucking amazing way to send off my GOAT. I'll be excited to see it. Another one of the GOATs, one of the very best ever for sure. This is the final one that I have on here that you submitted. CM Punk will have his WrestleMania moment
this year,
and will win the heavyweight championship, specifically the heavyweight championship.
Of course.
So, walk me through that.
We already know that this one right here is already occupied by me, not but.
Mm-hmm.
But we already know where that story's going for that shit, bro.
Do we?
The final boss for Roman Reigns.
The final boss exists?
Oh.
I thought it was Dwayne, TKO.
Taking tequila shots and then driving off.
Terramana.
Drinking and driving.
Yeah. I thought it was that Rock.
Drinking and driving Rock, bro. Fuck it, bro. Took like 8 fat swings out of that bottle and took like 2 shots with Cody.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate a bit here. You don't think there's a chance that Punk could win the Rumble and challenge Cody?
Win the Rumble and challenge Cody?
I said it.
Just because...
You think it's possible?
Just to say fuck the system and like fuck the script like how he usually does and shit, supposedly.
Biggest match. Biggest star, you know?
Nah, man.
I don't know if you remember, but in one of the very first promos, it could have been the first promo, I'm not sure, but one of the very first promos he cut when he came back into WWE, he gave a very specific shot at Cody by saying, I'm one of Dusty's kids too, talking about how he kind of like was mentored by Dusty and shit like that.
And how that fool was kind of jealous of them. Or
throwing
whatever.
a little shot at Cody,
his
essentially.
Feelings and shit.
And I mean, obviously, there's so much that we could dig into if we wanted to tell that story as far as Cody being one of the founding members of All Elite Wrestling and CM Punk being arguably one of the guys that has contributed to the downfall, at least in the short term, of the promotion. There's a lot of interesting stuff you could do there, for sure.
That is interesting, bro.
I think that it'd be fascinating because it's definitely face versus face. I don't think there's any way to get the crowd to consistently boo either of these guys in the current state of wrestling. But that doesn't mean you can't get a really great feud out of it because we just had that same situation with Seth and Punk. They're also both babyface for sure, but the feud was still amazing.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I'm just trying to say
I don't
there's
know.
a chance he
a-
goes for this.
You're throwing a big wrench right now,
Because
bro.
there's what's the iconic picture? It's him holding this belt in the. It's this right here after he beat Big Match John.
Mm-mm.
So I do think that there's a real chance that he goes for this one.
I feel like the world heavyweight is more likely, bro. I just feel like it's gonna be more open. This is probably like a side. No, I feel like Gunther's not gonna be carrying it to WrestleMania.
Interesting.
I don't think Gunther's gonna be the heavyweight championship.
So they
into fucking Mania.
Do you think it's the match that they have currently announced? Do you think that's where he drops it? Up against Jay at main event?
I have a strong feeling, bro.
Really?
I have a strong feeling. Even if he might win it back with the rematch. But I have a strong feeling Jay might get his singles title, bro.
But then you said even if he wins it back, so then how do we get to Mania with him not having the title?
He's gonna lose it again. It's gonna be.
There's no way that he's gonna lose the belt, win it back, and then lose it again within like a 2-month span. That's a little too much hot potato with the belt.
That's fair.
He could lose it and then win it back, but then he's got to keep it for a bit.
I definitely do see Jay winning this at main event.
Really?
Yeah.
So then Gunther just has to not win it back. I think
so. Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's just gonna be it's gonna be a different type of hot potato, like world heavyweight.
So then you're telling me Punk beats Jay at Mania?
I think it's not gonna be Jay. It's probably gonna be someone else.
See, nah, bro. I'm sorry, but you're overcooking your prediction right now. You're doing too much. You're doing way too much.
I don't know, bro.
There's not that much time until Mania, bro.
It's like, what, 3 months, 2 months away?
Yeah, like 2 to 3 months. There's no way that we're going to go from Gunther to Jay to someone else to Punk in 4 months. This is not Vince booking. This is not the Ruthless Aggression era. As much as sometimes I do kind of miss it in a weird way because it was exciting, but no. There's no way. I'm sorry, but can I tell you how I'm so confident that's not going to happen? Can I tell you why I'm so confident? Because Jay's last solo title run was already less than a month. And so there's no way the only 2 solo like titles that he's ever held in his career can both be 1-month title reigns. You just can't do that to the guy that you're calling main event. Like, you can't. That's ridiculous. And so if he wins that belt off of Gunther, he's holding on to it for a good amount of time to establish the main event gimmick. Or else you just buried main event. Like, it's one or the other. You can't have both. But if he wins that belt off of Gunther, it's not leaving his waist until at least WrestleMania. And even then, it's got to be like a banger match. Like, it would have to be Punk at that point. That level of a guy to take it off of him. And he still doesn't lose his aura. Because Jay's already on thin fucking ice, in my opinion. With the up and down nature of the main event shit. It's like it just doesn't... The entrances are lit. But at some point, you gotta actually be in the main event.
Okay, so what the fuck are you supposed to do at this main event then?
I think you're overcooking it. I think Gunther wins. I think Gunther walks into Mania as champion. And I think from what you're saying, I think Punk beats Gunther.
World Heavyweight Championship, yeah.
I just think Punk beating Gunther makes so much more sense. And it's so much easier to have that feud. Like, they're the perfect opposites of each other in so many ways. Like, I just feel like that's the feud that's so much easier to make sense. Rather than trying to get from Gunther to Jay to some mystery man you still haven't given me to then give it to Punk. Like, that's a lot of jumping through hoops. I don't think it's possible. Again, this is bro, literally all 3 of your predictions where, like, I agree with the overall elements of it.
I've seen crazier shit,
but then when we get to the nitty-gritty of it...
motherfuckers saying 4 ways fucking for the titles and shit.
See, I wouldn't mind that at Mania. Because of how... And we've talked about this on the channel before. The main event scene on the men's side of things is just so stacked with talent right now. and a lot of guys are genuinely deserving of having a WrestleMania moment. To me, there's probably multiple fatal four ways you could pitch me for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania that I'd say, fuck yeah, let's do it. I think there's so many different people that deserve to be in that conversation.
I've seen like fucking people say Seth, CM Punk, Gunther.
Throw Drew in there, and I think we've got an absolute masterclass of a match. Like, I think that'd be great. I think there's so many different ways you could do it. I think put Damien as the last guy in there, it'd be great. I think put Finn in there as the last guy, it'd be great. Sammy or KO could be in there, it'd be great. Solo could be in there, it'd be great. Braun Breaker could be in there, it'd be great. There's like...
So you would like a 3-way or a 4-way for these titles?
For the heavyweight championship specifically, yes. Just because I think there's so many people that are deserving and have been in and around that conversation for a while that you can definitely do some super amazing shit at Mania with that. And it would feel justified. It wouldn't feel like you're just trying to throw people together for the sake of it. Like, they've been having these intertwined...
Such a crazy story build-up.
They've been building it like this, though. The stories have been interweaving with one another this whole time in the main event. So it doesn't take much for these guys to all start getting involved with each other. Look at how fucking Raw literally opened up tonight, the episode we watched earlier today. It started with Punk coming out and getting the crowd hyped up. And then Seth comes out and starts talking shit to him. And then Drew comes out and starts talking shit to both of them. And everything they're talking about has to do with Cody, Kevin, Roman, Sammy. Like, there's all these other guys that are all Jay and Jimmy that are like also involved in everything they're talking about. Like, bruh, all these stories and all these characters are also connected right now. Like, I would say this actually. This is a bonus prediction. I think it has to be either a 3-way or 4-way for the heavyweight.
You think it has to be?
If it's a one-on-one match, it's a missed opportunity. If it's a one-on-one match, it's a missed opportunity. Unless you give me...
Do you think this is the only time that like a 3-way and a 4-way fits, you're saying?
Not the only time. I'm just saying...
But it's one of those few times.
This is a time, this is a year where the stories are so interwoven together. I think it would be a disservice to multiple talents on the roster if you didn't give all of them a chance to get into that heavyweight championship match.
That's wild.
That's where I'm at with it. This is our final prediction here for 2025. And it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. I hate to break it to you guys. The Rock will not wrestle in 2025.
That's not a spoiler. What do you mean he's not gonna wrestle? You think he's not gonna do anything at WrestleMania? You really think he's gonna do nothing at WrestleMania? You think Fool's gonna just chill, come say a promo, come talk shit, probably fucking
drink Terramana.
You know,
get in his truck and leave. I just feel like you've had the platforms multiple times. He's come out at multiple shows. He's offered nothing since the previous year's Mania season kind of concluded. We're getting so close to WrestleMania now. At this point last year, we were already kind of starting to plant the seeds.
So what the fuck is he gonna do? What was that whole bullshit when he came out? I forgot what PLE was, where he fucking came out with the glasses and fucking...
Bad Blood.
Bad Blood, yeah.
They've already been reports that was done with no plan in mind. It was just done like The Rock wanted to come out. He thought it'd be fun. So he did it. I kind of think bro might be an alcoholic. That's another side tangent, but
what?
I kind of think he's losing it. He's been like so busy for so long. I don't know if he's okay. I don't know. Obviously, I love him.
That's
Like, of
wild.
course, he's entertaining, and I'd love to be wrong.
All right, so why do you call him an alcoholic though?
Well, the dude is just always acting like kind of wild in public these days. I
haven't
think he
seen
might have
anything
been
about him in
drunk
public.
during the NXT promo. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
You
I
think
think he might have been
You think
drunk.
that's why he always does the goosebumps shit? Because he's fucking probably smashed.
I don't know
fucking
about
face.
that. I don't know about that. But just the way he was talking. So, like, if you compare it to the Raw Netflix promo, literally from the night before, he just sounds a lot more clear and focused in the Raw Netflix one. And he sounds a little more loose. Like, I think he might have legit been drinking a lot of tequila
fucking
before
wild.
he went out at
You
NXT.
think so? That's not. The
That's a shoot, bro.
The fucking bottle he had backstage, he already had it open from before.
I don't know, man. And so I just feel like
Oh my god, that's a wild take, bro. That's where did that shit even come from?
I've just been doing a lot of thinking about everything he said this last
That's been
week or
going
so.
on with him and shit.
And I've come to the conclusion that
That's wild.
he's given us truly nothing to indicate that he has any availability to come back. He's given us the indication that there's interest. Like, he talks like he wants to be
Rock
involved.
is too deep in the drink to come back. You forgot to write himself.
No.
back in.
I don't think it's that. I think he's just too busy with all the acting shit and everything else. That was just another tangent. But I do think he's just gonna be so busy with everything this year. Like, from what I've heard, all the Moana shoots and everything like that are gonna carry into the year pretty decently to where, like, I don't know if he'll be ready to come back by Mania
And be like on
to get a whole
consistently,
feud
on
going,
SmackDown or some
like how
shit,
he
yeah.
was last year with the Final Boss character and everything he was doing with Cody. And then if he doesn't have time to come back before Mania, I don't think he'd do it, because when else is he going to put on a show except WrestleMania realistically? Like, he's not going to come out and wrestle at any other show throughout the year, in my opinion, unless it's to build up to WrestleMania, so like the Rumble or something like that. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. I just don't see it. I don't know, man. And again, like, I'd love to be wrong, because the wrestling is better with The Rock involved, but I just don't think it's going to happen with everything. With the tea leaves we've been reading so far this year, I don't see it. I personally don't see it. Sad as it is to say.
That's wild. I don't fully believe. I don't know. That's an interesting, very interesting take. I agree with you with all the points you said. Like, I literally do. But I don't know. I feel like it was literally built up for him to wrestle this year.
It was.
Everything that supposedly happened was supposed to be like, oh, build up. Like, he's gonna come out and like start fucking probably beating everybody's ass or some shit.
But that hasn't happened yet. He literally crowned
He was probably gonna use
Roman as the
fucking like
tribal chief.
Solo as a pawn or some shit, but no.
None of it ever came to fruition, man.
And now I guess Roman's gonna try to win the Royal Rumble to face Cody.
Which, like, would still be fun, of course, but I feel like it's more likely that we get Cody versus Roman, or Cody versus Randy maybe, or Cody versus even John, I think is all more likely than Cody Rock for this year.
That's wild. That means
I think those are all more likely for this year.
That is wild. You think Cody's just gonna have his pick or some shit?
No, I just think those are all potentially on the
He
table.
might win Elimination Chamber or some bullshit, even though you say he's gonna lose too.
Well, I just think that those are all stories that you have a realistic way to get there. You know, like, they're all at least in the Rumble. The Rock is...
Damn, so we're not we don't have a guaranteed Roman Reigns versus Cody this year then?
No, it's not guaranteed, no. It's possible, but it's not guaranteed.
That's wild.
No.
That's even wild.
Would you just thought it was a given? Every year you get Cody versus Roman? You thought that shit was a fucking annual tradition now?
I guess
No,
with the way
no.
everything's going and shit.
You might get it if you're lucky. Were you a good boy this year? Spencer will find out.
Yo.
If you were naughty, you get Cody versus Logan Paul. Sorry. I don't make the rules.
Shit. That'd be a banger.
Logan's
That'd be a
going
classic,
over.
bruh.
Logan's going over.
That'd be a classic, bro.
And then he's going to take the belt and not defend it.
This was gonna make it a prime belt, bro.
That'd be so awesome. If he just made it the prime belt, defended it like 3 times a year. Fuck. That's what I need. Right
Every
there.
single time it drops a new flavor, he changes the plates and shit.
Damn, bro, you're cooking.
Fuck yeah, bro.
You're cooking. That's a banger, bro. So that's your last prediction?
Yeah, bro.
Nice, I like it. Prime belt. Nice, dude. So, Monday Night Raw, earlier tonight, literally, when we're recording this, opened up with Punk and Seth and Drew all coming out and kind of talking some shit to one another, and ultimately all announcing that they will be in the Royal Rumble. This is coming on the heels of Roman announcing that he will be in the Rumble through Paul Heyman announcing that he will be in the Rumble. Obviously, Cena recently announcing he kind of kicked off the trend. So, we're looking at what is potentially one of the most stacked Royal Rumble matches ever.
Honestly.
And I don't want to, like, sound too in the moment, like, have too much recency bias here, but I do think that this is setting up to be one of the best Rumbles ever. What's your early favorites? Who are we leaning towards early? Where this is not in any way an official prediction, because we will have that stuff as we get like closer to the show itself. But just with what everyone's doing right now,
Is it just? Are we just talking about the group who announced that they're gonna be in it?
I mean, you could assume that other guys are gonna be in there. Obviously, if you want, I'm just asking for a vibe check. I don't want you to overthink this.
John Cena's strong, of course, with this whole fucking farewell tour. They might just give him the fucking ticket there.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I think there's a strong chance that happens, honestly. I do think that's very realistic.
Fucking Roman would have to pull some crazy shit. Because that shit's going to be interesting going in with the story with the bloodline and shit. Because I don't know if they're going to help him win that shit. They're not going to be over here fucking doing that shit for him. Definitely.
I don't think he needs it. Honestly, I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards Roman early right now.
Really?
I just feel like because he hasn't competed in a Rumble in so long because he was the champion for quite a few years.
You think that's going to make it interesting?
I think his return to the Royal Rumble match will be treated with like some sense of like, holy shit, that's Roman Reigns.
What position do you feel like is going to be his range that he's going to come in? Like,
I would assume somewhere in the 20s, like mid-20s. Not super late, because I'd feel like you want to get the juice out of Roman, and it's not like a surprise that he's going to be there or anything, but yeah, like mid-20s. Mid-20s. I wouldn't pull the Roman card too early, because that's a big card to pull. But I do think that you could see, I don't know, just... We're talking vibe checks here. For me, I'm feeling pretty Roman-y. Pretty Roman-y.
CM Punk is definitely a big favorite, too.
Of course. I do think that's another...
That can be his big comeback to the WWE. He's winning the Rumble.
I've heard people online making this case, and I want to just see how you feel about the fact that the favor is there. And so I've seen some people saying that because of the existence of the favor from Heyman, you don't need to have Punk winning the Rumble or anything like that, because he can still have other avenues to potentially getting himself into WrestleMania or something along those lines. Potentially.
So you might...
Potentially.
Crazy shout, but you're saying even if Punk loses the Rumble, if Roman wins, he might have that ticket-free card if Roman wins the championship against Cody or whatever he challenges.
I've seen people saying all sorts of things along those lines.
That's
yes.
like wow.
Yeah. I'm just saying you do have an excuse to not have Punk win the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cases, I would say Punk is the clear favorite because he is by far, in my opinion, the most over babyface at the moment, especially without a championship. And to me, that's always like a pretty safe bet on who should win your Royal Rumble, is who is the babyface that the crowd wants to see in that main event scene at WrestleMania going for a championship. It's CM Punk for sure. Like, that's the guy this year that the fans, by and large, and myself included, that's who we want to see fighting for a championship at WrestleMania this year. You predicted it yourself. I just feel like you have a way to get there without him winning the Rumble, if that's how you want to do it. Honestly, I've thought about this Heyman favor thing a lot. I really have. It's one of the most interesting things to me. Like, I think you could have it be where...
do you think it's going to be a title shot, bro?
No, hear me out. This is what I was going to say. It could go so many ways. You can have Punk as number 30 in the Rumble, and that's the favor. Is that Heyman pulled some strings and got him to come out last in the Rumble. And it's as simple as that.
It might be a thing like, oh, fucking Roman gets a better entry number and fucking Punk is like...
oh, let's switch these. It could be as simple as that. Like, people are thinking it's going to be so deep, like, oh, he's going to get him into the main event of Mania. Like, it could just be something a bit more simple along those lines, but something that crucially helps Punk to get to that point. Or it could be something a bit more extravagant, like a lot of people have been suggesting, where, like, Punk loses the Royal Rumble, but goes to Heyman and says, hey, I want to cash in this favor, and either swaps a spot from somebody else, like the Rumble winner gets fucked over by Punk, or Punk just works his way in, makes it a triple threat, something else, I don't know. But I do think there are a lot of ways that you can use the favor to avoid Punk having to be a Rumble winner. I just think it's interesting. And I think because there's so many other candidates that could win the Rumble, I feel like you could skip out on Punk winning it, at least for this year.
That's crazy.
Because you've got the favor in your back pocket.
That's a crazy shout, but I feel it, but that's crazy. Man, damn. I don't know, bruh.
So, you've thrown out a couple names. I'm going to have to press you for an answer. Just for a vibe check early favorite. Like I said, it's not like you're writing this in stone. But I want your early vibe check favorite for the Royal Rumble. A couple weeks out.
I would say Punk, bro.
Okay. We'll see.
I feel like Elimination Chamber is probably going to be for Cena. If it's going to be his time to shine there, I don't know.
We'll see. Well, at least your boy has arrived. Say that shit.
Settle yellow, bruh. Settle yellow, bruh. What you doing, bruh? How'd you feel, bruh?
How did you feel? You're the one who was more hyped up for it.
Probably.
You were very excited.
Annoyed with all the social media shit with the WWE shop did. It's like, bruh. And then announcing him at the fucking live shows, like, bro, okay, whatever. I know it was already fucking... like how Michael Cole's ass said the fucking worst kept secret in fucking wrestling and shit. Yeah. And nah, bro.
You wanted them to try and make it more of a surprise?
Definitely.
Well, I mean, it just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't a surprise. Like, we already knew. You know what I mean? Like, it was reported. It was very obvious. We all knew once they started doing the teasers and everything, too. Like, it was obvious from the very first teaser that they put out. You know? So, I mean, I guess if you wanted to say, like, they should have never put out any of those teasers or anything.
Not any of the teasers, but...
Because that's my thing is, like, you really think that a WWE audience in San Jose would have popped that hard for Penta had they not known that he was coming?
That's true.
Because, honestly, I was only really put on to who he was recently. And these last few weeks of, like, the hype building up and stuff. Like, I had heard his name. I had heard of the Lucha Brothers because they were pretty popular in AEW and stuff like that. But I had never watched any of their matches. I had just heard their names, and I knew that people that like wrestling are very fond of them. And I was like, okay, they're probably really good wrestlers. But honestly, I had never looked into it until finally we start to get those teasers on Raw and stuff with those little clips. I'm like, oh, this guy's actually coming. Let me look up some of his clips and stuff. And that's when I became a bit more familiar with his game. And I think I'm not alone in that. And so I think a lot of us fans who only have so much time but very much enjoy the WWE product at the moment, like, I've never watched a Lucha Underground show. I've seen some clips, I've seen a couple matches, but I've never watched like any of their shit consistently like that. So I don't think that you can bring out certain guys that are a bit more niche like that. Like, you might have been familiar with what he had been doing, but I don't think the audience at large did. And so I feel like you got to kind of let go of that surprise element. That can only happen when it's guys that are like legitimately huge. Like, Cody was the biggest name in the other promotion at the time in AEW. Like,
Yeah.
he was able to come over and be like a surprise reveal because it was huge. Like, if you were bringing over fucking Will Ospreay or like, you know, one of their big top MJF, one of their big top guys at AEW, you could do it as a surprise. Besides that, I think you have to tease it a bit just to get the fan base a bit more in tune with who they are and what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it would be the same thing with, like, I'm sorry, but not like everybody knows who MJF is. You would have to watch AEW, and I feel there's a lot of people
I'm not gonna
who
lie.
only watch WWE, and that's a lot of the fan base for WWE.
MJF is so massive though because of his clips and like the stuff.
But that's the wrestling
his
community.
no,
like,
but this is what I'm saying
that's
though.
The same shit you're
There's
talking
certain
about. That's
guys
the
where you
wrestling
get
community,
so
bro.
big within the wrestling community that you're just known about by wrestling fans. Period. Penta, nowhere near that level.
Bro, I'm
Not
sorry,
even
but
close.
Still,
Not even close.
It's shocking to know, but it's still a lot of people that just still watch WWE. They don't.
No, I know
even
that, but they
touch.
still know who MJF is, regardless.
How
They
the
still
fuck are
know
they
who
gonna know
Will Ospreay is, regardless. They still know who like the top
Nah, bro,
guys in
there's people who are
AEW
literally
are.
just WWE. That's wrestling
Least,
to
yes,
them.
but they know who the other people are. You hear the names, the clips come up on social media and stuff. They're not stupid, bro. I'm sorry, but you're tripping. That's why, you know how I know you're wrong? I'll explain it to you very slowly for you to understand. Cody Rhodes debuts WrestleMania, right? Very, like, kept under. No one knew about that shit. It was a big surprise. No promo teasers or anything like that. But when he comes out at Wrestle fucking Mania, it's a massive pop and a massive moment and everything like that. Because, bro, it's Cody fucking Rhodes. He was a top guy in All Elite Wrestling. Top guy on the indie scene, to where anyone who knew anything about wrestling knew who Cody Rhodes was. It's just simple as that. Yes, I only watch WWE, but I still know about that fool because he's that big. He's that significant to wrestling. So I'm sorry, bro, but no, Penta was never on that level. Not even close. And so you needed to educate the public to who this fool is, figure out who he is a little bit. Only the top stars, like a MJF, are able to be presented in that surprise manner. So I'm saying that to say you had to let go of the surprise thing. It was never possible for Penta. It was never possible. Because no one would have known who the fuck was coming out. Be like, what's happening right now? That's just the reality of the situation, bro.
So you're saying just luchador culture is like just not relevant at all or some shit, bro? And that's what
If
you
your
kind
name's
of
not Rey Mysterio.
That's fucking crazy, bro. That's a crazy fucking take. He's basically like the number 2.
Sorry.
That's fucking crazy as hell. How can you say that's literally one of the biggest parts of wrestling?
It 100% is, but it's also a very niche part of wrestling, and only a certain type of wrestling fan actually watches these Lucha Underground matches and keeps up with these types of promotions in Mexico, and only a very small audience keeps up with the AEW stuff on a consistent basis and is actually diehard investing into all of that stuff at a consistent basis. I'm sorry, but he is just nowhere near that level of a star that you think he is. He has his core strong fan base, but he's nowhere near as well known as you think he is. That's just the reality of the situation. Bro does not have any, like, top level, memorable, like, feuds and shit that happened that was able to make him a star. Like, that's what you have to do shit to become a star. You have to have big matches, big feuds against other top level guys, and he just hasn't done that, bro. He's had some great matches from the stuff I've seen and everything like that, but again, like, within a niche community, it's only a certain type of wrestling fan that's gonna look into that shit. That's just the reality of it, bro. I'm not trying to fucking disrespect lucha culture, but it's like only a certain amount of fans are gonna look into the shit that's happening in New Japan. Like, there's certain types of wrestling nerds that get like super into these like smaller subcultures and shit. But like I said, you asked me, so lucha culture is irrelevant? Like, if you're not Rey Mysterio to like a more casual audience, yeah, kind of.
So you're gonna say if you're not Shinsuke Nakamura's strong style is irrelevant?
Kind of, yeah, to the more casual audience, yes, bro. Like, you gotta understand, it's literally what you were just saying. Like, these WWE fans only know the small 0.1% at the very top.
How did Shinsuke come into WWE then and succeeded if there is no such thing as strong style before that?
Because the people who actually are like truly invested in wrestling and watch it and know about it are the ones working at the company and make the signings. It's not your casual fan that's the one in charge of the roster, or else it would just be a shitty roster. I just feel like you're not understanding where I'm coming from. It's not to be disrespectful. It's just to be realistic about how people fucking perceive this shit. Like, bro, I'm sorry, but I think a vast majority of the audience either kind of knew who he was or had no idea who he was. A very small percentage of the audience would have been like actual knowledgeable Penta fans before those teasers started dropping. That's just, I think, the reality of the situation. Like, AEW is not very successful at the moment. And it's because...
Why do you think all their wrestlers are basically coming over?
That's what I'm saying, though. It's because they only had guys like Penta, who are, like, wrestler fan, nerdy fan favorites. Like, you gotta be a real diehard to know about a lot of these guys and be invested in there. And that, like, I'm not trying... I appreciate that shit. I am also a nerd of all of this wrestling shit. My point is that you can't just throw that at the fan base at large and expect them to instantly... Like, MJF is going to be in Happy Gilmore. There's a difference, bro. Like, that's the difference. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Mainstream popularity is the difference between the guys you can do a surprise and the guys you can't.
Okay, so where would you put Darby Allin then? That would be a perfect question. Because I still question Will Ospreay. I'll say fair, but I disagree with that. But let me just say Darby Allin. Where would you put him at? Would you put him with Ospreay and MJF?
He's like right on the border, to be honest with you. I'd say no. I'd say he's more in the Penta category than the, like, MJF Cody category. But it's like he's right on the fence. But I'd say just more in the, you gotta be a bit more of a wrestling nerd to know about him. Just a bit.
Interesting.
I'm being honest. I think the Punk feud, that's what elevated a guy like MJF to get to that level. Obviously, Cody was the whole... All In was kind of centered around him and a handful of other guys there. Like, I think Kenny Omega would be another guy that you could bring in with no promo, just surprise. Oh my God, it's Kenny Omega, and people would flip their fucking shit. I think there's a certain amount of guys in All Elite that would be on that level that you could have that full surprise entrance and people would still pop and instantly know that this is a big deal. Not many, though. Not many. To be honest with you, not many. Not Penta. This fool took that shit to heart, bruh. You're not even Mexican, chill.
No, I didn't take...
Not even Mexican. Fuck, yeah.
I'm still fan of the luchador, bro. That's like the only like Hispanic representation on that.
I know. I'm just fucking with you. So I mean, we didn't talk about the match.
I know.
Just went on a whole other rant. This fool got all in his feels.
Fuck you, bro.
This fool got mad that Penta's not a big boy, not a big star.
He's a big fucking dog, bro.
This fool, I promise you this. Like this fool
Bro,
saying he wants to get that world title push. Not gonna happen.
He's gonna do that to the fucking. He's gonna do that to Braun Breaker to win the title, bro.
This fool's for sure IC title, but not world. Let's walk before we run. Because in WWE, you do have to be able to cut a promo.
That was the main event mania.
You
bro.
do have to be able to cut a promo.
That was the.
Like we'll see. It was decent today, but you do. We'll see. We'll see.
I told you his English wasn't that good.
I got a couple notes from the match. I thought that obviously like a lot of the in-ring action was really fucking top level. Like I could see where a lot of the hype comes from. The dude's moveset is genuinely fucking ridiculous. But one thing that pisses me off when I see it in wrestling in general, and I feel like I see it more in AEW.
Can I guess it? Is it overselling?
Not overselling, no. It's the 2 count. Where he hits him with the fucking... I mean, I assumed it was a Canadian destroyer.
Yeah.
Pat called it a Mexican destroyer, so I don't know which is
more
which.
like more flippy.
But fucking... Anyways, he hits a move that, in my opinion...
Shit
like,
puts motherfuckers out and
that
shit.
When you compare the way that the pile driver that KO was hitting on Randy and Cody was treated, like... They have to go to fucking medical.
Necks,
they gotta be
stupid
fucking
shit,
held out for weeks and shit. Like, Randy still hasn't come back. And obviously, I know he had his prior neck issues, if that's how you're gonna justify it. But still, it's a similar move to what put 2 legends on the shelf for a little bit. And Gable gives it a 2 count. It's crazy to me. Now...
He did not want to sell the Mexican destroyer, bruh.
I'm like kind of willing to let it go for this match in particular, because it did have like a big match feel to it because it was his debut. It had that like big match energy, and I feel like in those types of moments is when you should pull out the big 2 counts. And so if that's what this is, then cool. But if this ends up being a thing consistently where he's putting this move onto dudes, and let's be real, like, with all due respect, Chad Gable's not even anywhere near the main event. And you're putting this move on dude, and he's giving it a 2 count. Like, I don't know. It just feels like it's a little bullshit. I would appreciate if a move like that looks so absolutely unreal was just protected a bit more. Because I feel like it deserves to be. And if you're not going to use it for the 3 count, then just don't use it.
His body straight, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, if I can be real, that was harder than his finish. I understand that the destroyer is a little bit more of a generic move, and the Penta driver, whatever they called it, is a bit more unique and stuff, but just what looks more devastating, like if I was just showing a non-wrestling fan, like look at these clips from this wrestling match, you might like it. I think that would be the clip. The destroyer would be the clip where people would be like, what the fuck, that was insane. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's something that should be a bit more protected, and it bugs me when I see it in All Elite and other places. And so if I'm gonna call it out from other people, I feel like I need to be fair and call it out here as well. That did bug me a bit. Like I said, willing to kind of overlook it for this match in particular, but I'm curious to see if that ends up becoming like a trend with his matches. But
that's an interesting thing to be bugged about, but I feel it though.
I was like, what the fuck? Really? Like, it just stuck out to me as like, he should be dead right now. Like, with how they've sold this with Randy and Cody and everything, like, he should be dead.
Bro, you say you should not be moving right now.
I kind of felt that way, yeah. But, I mean, hey, it was an entertaining match. It was a super entertaining match. Like, Chad Gable's phenomenal. Penta's phenomenal.
How
I
would you rank the
do.
debut? Honestly, your honest opinion.
It was a really strong debut. Like that, like I said, the match was really, really good
Out
from
of
an
10
in
for
ring
a debut.
perspective. Out of 10, I mean, I'd give it like a good 7 or 8. Like it wasn't fucking nothing revolutionary. It didn't blow my socks off, but it was fucking a very
What would you
strong
want
in ring debut.
from a debut? Yeah.
I mean,
You got the "This Is Awesome" chance.
Chris Jericho.
What?
Chris Jericho, Y2J Countdown.
Fuck that fool.
That's my favorite debut, I think, ever in WWE. Just you asked, what do you want to debut? That fool standing on the stage. That's what I want. Because that to me is like, oh my God, a star is born. A God has arrived amongst us men.
I fucking did.
Like,
you talking about his original?
Yeah. Yeah, his original debut. Like, to me, that is... You just asked, what do you want to... What's a 10 out of 10 debut? That. He didn't even have to get in the fucking ring. He just had to walk out and say, Raw is Jericho. That's it. That's all he had to do. So, to me, I guess the star presentation could have been a bit more... I think you're honestly, you got handicapped when you're put up against the mid-carder. Again, like, Chad is a fucking elite in-ring worker, but it's just he's been held down to the bottom of the mid-card realistically. Like, he didn't even get the proper Intercontinental title chance that he deserved. And so it did kind of suck that he instantly got stuffed against, like, just a complete filler bot. Like, shit was kind of pointless. If he would have been brought into an actual proper main event match, and it didn't, not even saying it needed to be the main event, but just against a main eventer, I think that could have added some aura points. And just the overall presentation was kind of like standard. Like his entrance was cool, but could have done a bit more.
Absolutely.
And I mean, maybe that fool should hit his time instead of running over. I don't know if you... Did you see what I sent you?
Yeah, but what happened to the Raw shows being 3 hours? That shit was 2.5.
Well, I think that they've said that the shows can be fluid as far as how long they want them to be, but I feel like once you plan out a show and how long it's supposed to be, that's it. Like, it's not like they're just going to start adding on a bunch of time at the end. Because I feel like that sets a bad precedent. Like, you don't want the talent to think that they can just run over and do whatever they want. Like, if you tell them it's 2.5 hours tonight, it's got to be 2.5 hours tonight.
You're saying they should... Superstars moving on should carry still like that cable television mentality. Is like, you have your spotlight,
yes.
and that's your time, and like,
yes.
you do it, but once it's done, it's done.
I'm a firm believer in that. Because I've been in that environment to a much smaller extent, but I understand the idea behind, like, having to get something done, having to accomplish some sort of story in a certain amount of time forces you to work more creatively and be more direct. If we just give everyone the luxury of as much time as they want, the stories would suck.
WWE show,
because everyone's shit would have like a Roman level entrance and fucking it would just take too long. It'd be too
everybody would come out and start talking their shit.
Yeah, man. Like it's just you can't give that much creative freedom.
We have a lot more Rock moments.
Exactly. You don't want people coming out and literally saying, "Oh fuck, I don't know what the fuck to say." Haha. Like, you don't want that, you know what I mean? Like, you want that pressure of knowing you have a certain amount of time to get your shit off. The pressure creates greatness. And so I think that overall, yeah, we got to keep that same mentality. It's just funny to me that fool came in on his very first night with the company and's already pissing off his coworkers. Like, I don't know if that's a great start, but...
That would definitely be an awkward handshake. In the fucking gorilla room, be like, nice. Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Like, that would suck if he's
Ray's
already gonna start to get
next
married.
Week and shit. The locker room leader, Ray, bro.
The locker room leader, Ray. Oh,
like,
fuck.
You can't be doing that, bro. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
You're gonna take him to fucking court.
See, it'll be interesting to see where his character goes from here, because obviously it's like almost impossible to debut someone as a heel. And so I get that, yeah, like for now, you just had to have him beat up Chad Gable because that's what you had to do.
At some point, that was gonna have to turn to.
But yeah, like from everything I've heard, at least from everything
He's
I'm
Pentagon
seeing, like
dark,
he's
bruh.
so much better as a heel, and so I definitely am
You see how
curious
he
to
is?
see how they
He's
navigate
fucking
it.
crazy, bro.
Yeah, no, just the aesthetic and everything. Yeah, I don't see that being like a
Baby
kid's
face,
favorite.
yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see, bro. I'm
Right now, he
excited.
just look cool because everybody likes him and shit. But
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, shit, bro. I'm excited to see where he goes from here.
see me ever, bro.
I wanted to talk about Gunther and Jay's promo segment that they had on Raw this week. I thought that it was a pretty elite segment.
Interesting, to say the least.
I thought that it was a pretty elite segment. So I started by thinking that like Gunther was high key punking this fool. Like he was really hitting him where it hurts, giving him a lot of the
Calling him a elite tag team wrestler
was pretty
crazy.
tough, bro. That was pretty tough.
To have the world heavyweight champion, like, yeah, you're good. You're a fucking elite tag team wrestler.
Exactly. But then Jay coming back and finally, for the first time in a minute, kind of
Cutting a decent, like, emotional promo and shit.
and reverting away from the like yeet cadence where I have to talk like
That
this.
he even told the crowd to like hold
so
on,
I could pause for the crowd, so that they could yeet in between all of my sentences. Oops. Like it gets a little tiring when he has to cut every promo in that cadence.
So I just feel in the beginning thing you thought it was gonna be the same old shit.
100%. Yeah, no, that's why I thought he was gonna get cooked on the mic, was because I thought he was just gonna stick to the same old childish gimmick, and Gunther was gonna tell this fool, damn, that's a cute little gimmick, and just gotta fucking body his ass. But then Jay actually gives us a classic Jay Uso promo, that emotional, convincing, actually getting me to believe in you promo, which is so rare these days, unfortunately, but really was happy. I was happy to see it. Because, man, I fucking was a big Jay supporter. And then the whole yeet shit started happening. And, like, it's fun. And I'll yeet here and there, of course. Like, it's not like I'm too cool to yeet. But it does suck that I feel like we lost the depth a bit. And so it was really exciting to see that depth come back a bit more. And I'm really excited for this match now at main event. I think that this is going to be a very interesting match. And honestly, I've at least as of right now, we're, I believe, like 10 or so days out from it. I feel like Jay's got a pretty good chance at getting a dub. With the way they're hyping it up, coming off the momentum from the big win against Drew.
Interesting to see.
I feel like there's a decent chance Jay could snag himself a little heavyweight championship. How do you feel?
They're definitely trying to build something up with them personally and shit like that. Him talking about all his failures and shit like that. Him supposedly trying to cement the main event status or whatever the fuck. That's what I guess what this whole beef is about now. So I don't. It's definitely fucking. I would say he has probably like a 65% chance of winning, probably. Not 60. Nah, that's kind of crazy.
I was gonna say that's pretty high.
And I would say probably maybe like 40, honestly, with all the pushing he's probably getting right now.
I'll say around something like that, yeah. Like, I feel like it's a pretty 50-50-ish match at the moment, and I'm excited to see how the promos build over the next couple weeks and where everything goes, but because if Jay could continue to build up some momentum, I feel like we could actually get, who knows, man, maybe main event Jay Uso is really it.
Because the crowd is fucking behind him, bro. The crowd is fucking behind him. And what does WWE love right now? When they can fucking sell that pretty face.
Yeah.
Have the whole crowd fucking going crazy. Because that's what the fuck they love showing on their little fucking promotional shit on TV and shit.
Yeah.
About the whole crowd going crazy and shit.
100%. And I mean, Jay is, just a great face for the company in general.
Like, how the
I feel
fuck
like
did
the
Rhea
kids
become
love
the face
him.
of the company, bro? She was supposed to be a fucking heel. She was supposed to be a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but the fans love her too much. They wouldn't let them keep her as a heel.
And now she's like in every WWE commercial.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, in a way, that's a really good sign, though, because that means they listened to us finally, which is great. That didn't always used to happen. And so it's nice that we're heard. And hopefully, like I've been saying, like, if they hear the people, I think there's a chance that we get a big moment for Jey Uso. We'll still have to see, though. I'm not fully putting the stamp on it. Like I said, I'm still kind of 50-50 on it. We got to see how the build goes as we lead up into the match. But it is interesting. I mainly just wanted to bring this up, honestly, just to shout out Jay for that promo. Because, like, it was great to see a return to form for Jey Uso. Like, that's the Jay that I love and want to see more often.
Bro, definitely spoke that shit from the heart, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That shit was great. Lyra Valkyria is our inaugural Intercontinental Champion.
I did not expect that, bro.
Really?
I did not expect that.
Really?
Let's just start it right there, but...
I definitely... When we came down to the final two, I was feeling a bit more confident that Valkyria was going to get it over Dakota.
I was so sure Dakota Kai was going to win that.
Really?
Bro. Yeah.
Really? Especially because Lyra had beat Io. And to me, that was a pretty big, like,
That's
okay,
fair,
like,
yeah.
she's got a pretty big win here. She's rolling with some momentum. It was still close. Like, I wasn't 100% sold on it by any means, but I was slightly leaning towards seeing a Lyra win. So I'm surprised to hear that you were so surprised.
I just feel like with how Triple H has been carrying the way, like, championships are won, it's like more like, oh, like story based and shit like that. And you can see like Chelsea Green, she earned her spot and shit like that as a U.S. women's because of all the stories. She agrees with the crowd and shit like that. And it's been the same with Dakota, but the fucking opposite way because she's kind of been a heel the whole fucking time. And of course, she's gotten people to hate her when she turned on Bayley.
Yeah.
Kept on going with damage control and all that bullshit. Even though, yes, it's kind of confusing right now because, like, I guess damage control is face. I don't know what you want to call it right now with them. But I feel like she did deserve it because she did put in good work this past year, and I feel like Triple H has been rewarding a lot of that recently, especially with all these titles and shit.
Yeah. No, I agree. I
feel like, oh, Lyra was just barely getting brought up from fucking, and she had an amazing NXT run before she got fucking brought up right now. She was just barely the NXT champ, before she just got brought up and shit. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I thought I was like, oh, it's a little bit too soon for her to be the championship. Maybe like the next run right now, yeah, she'll probably win that shit. But I thought it's like definitely Dakota Kai is gonna get this one.
I mean, to be fair, it's a decent argument that you're making. Like, I do feel like
she's been at the company for a while too.
For this mid card title, like Dakota definitely represents another one of those examples like Chelsea of like kind of the peak of the mid card in the women's division.
Because that's the thing that Chelsea Green always says when she's fucking giving her promos. I don't know if you caught on to that, but it's like already been a few times. She's like, oh, who's another champion that's gonna fucking get signed, get dropped, get signed again, get kicked out, but then fucking come back and then win fucking the championship or whatever the fucking order is that she fucking had and shit like that.
Yeah.
So,
it's definitely, like you said, it's an impressive journey that she went on. In some ways, it's similar for Dakota, at least as far as being stuck in the kind of middle of the pack and having to grind it out, but she's definitely made her moments count and stuff like that. I can see where you're coming from. I do feel like you said, like, Lyra's run on NXT was very impressive. She came up with a lot of hype, and I feel like kind of stagnated a bit. Like, she kind of just plateaued a little bit early, which was weird because, like, the other NXT call-ups that were very highly thought of were kind of doing really well. So I feel like this is a way for her to finally establish herself with the audience and, like, finally kind of have her moment that she's been kind of working towards. And the door isn't shut on Dakota potentially getting a shot at it down the line, but I feel like, honestly, they got it down to probably the best two options on Raw, because if we're just being real, it wasn't as strong of a field as they had on SmackDown. But I think by the time they worked it down to the final two, they had the best two options there. I think either winner would have been very deserved, but I do think that they ultimately got it right. Some of the spots in this thing were fucking gnarly. Like that, like suplex drop that they do off of the apron. Oof.
I got a question though. So why do you think Lyra deserved it more? Like, why do you think she was more going into it? Why do you were more leaning towards her winning it?
Like I said, just the hype that she had coming up from NXT, that kind of ended up.
Do you think that just carried
stagnating.
over?
So like she was like very hyped up coming out of NXT, but then it all just kind of went nowhere for a bit. I think it was really, if we look at it, when Raw went down to 2 hours, a lot of what got cut out was kind of some of the women's division stuff. And she ended up just getting stuffed into a lot of weird, thrown together storylines real quick. Like, oh yeah, Zelina Vega, I'll come help you out tonight. Sure, buddy. Like, just being a pal, which is like not where you want to be.
That badass pal or whatever.
And so fucking yeah, like I feel like in a way she was supposed to have already done more, but because the shows lost some time, she had to get kind of forced into other stuff just to try and get TV time at all. And now that we're finally back at a show that's a bit more flexible with its running length and stuff, they wanted to like give her a, like, hey, we know you got kind of screwed over here. Your whole debut on the main roster didn't go quite according to plan, but now we can finally get things rolling. So it's not necessarily like what she did on the main roster to deserve it, but more so how strong her NXT run was and that hype she had coming out of NXT. I feel like this is her finally delivering on that hype, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why I was looking at her as slightly the favorite coming into the match, because she had all of that hype, and this was a chance for her to finally deliver on it.
Okay. That's crazy, bro. No. I still feel like Dakota probably slightly kind of deserved it more, but 100% feel where you're coming from with it.
No, like I said, I think that the last two were the two best options. I think either one you have a good argument for, so I think that's fair.
Good match from both of them, though, like how you were saying earlier. And
Banger.
shit,
It was a fucking banger of a match. You could tell that they both were trying to put it all on the line, and I definitely, that, like I said, that drop off of the apron is still, like, that's going to be sticking with me for a while, because it was just flat onto the floor. That shit was brutal. That was fucking brutal. But yeah, great match, physical match, and congratulations to Lyra Valkyria. Crazy times, man. Finally got some mid-card women's titles. I think it's going to do a lot of good.
Another NXT champ, like how we were talking about earlier. Another NXT champion.
Yeah.
I mean, NXT brought up
Yeah.
champion recently. NXT graduate champion, bro.
The system
And on
is
the
working.
main roster, bro.
The system is working. The youth academy is going crazy.
Produces some straight fucking talent, bro.
Straight ballers.
Producing a whole starting 11, bro. Fuck.
Straight ballers. Shit's crazy. So, one of the matches that got announced tonight on Monday Night Raw was Sheamus versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship.
Interesting.
At Saturday night's main event. Running back a feud that we've done a bit already, but on the biggest stage I think it will have been presented on so far, so that'll be exciting. Do you think that there's a realistic chance for Sheamus to win? Is my question I want to ask you.
Yeah, because you literally you got what?
It's the IC title curse, though.
True.
He doesn't win it, you know. That's his thing. And it's Braun Breaker.
And
He's
how close
a
was
dog.
he last time right now? How close was he last time, though?
Just don't know, man. I just don't know.
This might be his final fucking actual. Because honestly, there's probably going to have to be a title switch on this main event this time. And I feel like this
I
might
do
be,
wonder if they're
this-
going to try and beef it up a bit more.
This might be the title switch on the main event.
That could be a big one. That could be a big one. I do think that Sheamus is a pretty big name for some of the casual fans or lapsed fans that might see, oh, Sheamus has a big match. That's cool. Like, might tune back in. And especially him having a big title match. I feel like so many times we've bought into Sheamus potentially finally becoming the Grand Slam champ, and it just doesn't happen. Like, he's just... Like, he says it himself. He's got the IC title curse. I'm worried that we're buying into hype that is going to disappoint us again. Honestly, as much as... You know me, I'm a massive Braun Breaker fan. I would kind of love to see Sheamus get it done, though, just sentimentally. I feel like that would be great. And to drop it to a legend like Sheamus is definitely not.
And for what the reason is to be a Grand Slam champion.
Exactly. Like, that's a huge moment for Braun Breaker in his own right. I think that it would be really cool. I just hope that they have the balls to finally do it. I don't know what's taking so long, but
main event would be crazy as fuck, bro.
I think that would be a great way to help present main event.
Gonna be watching a fucking Swifter commercial next thing you know, fucking Sheamus and be champion, bro.
I mean, that'd be a good way to finally present the show in a bit more, like, you know, you gotta tune in type of a thing. Because as much as we think Jay has a chance, I still don't think that's far from a guarantee. I think that
Sheamus is a lot more.
Sheamus has a pretty good chance.
I would give that one actually 60%.
I think Sheamus has a pretty good chance here. Well, we got to see how these promos play out, though, man. Because Braun, he is a fucking dog, dude. Like, if you saw their interaction that they had on Raw earlier this week, but Braun was not backing down whatsoever. Not at all. And so I'm curious to see. This is the problem with Sheamus, is he's such a great guy to use to put someone else over. Because if him and Braun just put on like an absolutely bloody physical mess and Braun wins, he's going to look like so much like just a fucking tank. A fucking tank. So that's the problem, is Sheamus just makes his opponents look too good, that it's too easy to use him as someone to put people over. But I'm tired of it, and I do think it's time for Sheamus to have his own banger. After banger after banger. I think it's time. I'm down. I'm down to see Sheamus become a Grand Slam champ. I'm down for Saturday night's main event to feel exciting. And
that'll definitely bring a lot more of the casual eyes to it. Because I feel like this is their last chance with casual eyes, probably.
You can't have another show where it feels so...
Not casual, but non-casual eyes, I mean.
You mean like getting the actual wrestling fans to...
Yeah, to be able to want to tune into this.
I disagree. Because, bro, like, we're going to watch. We're always going to watch. We're just going to bitch about it. But we'll watch.
But also the casual fan, because it's like...
I think that's the biggest thing, is you have less of a chance to create new fans. It's not that people won't maybe try it out and tune in. Like, they might still pop a decent number on NBC.
But they won't be like, what's this?
They won't follow up and continue with the product if it doesn't give them a reason to. So that's something that might hopefully give them a reason to. Just, you give them a real exciting moment where clearly people are, like, emotionally invested into it, and that could be something that convinces someone to say, hey, this wrestling thing looks interesting. So, yeah. I don't know. I think I've talked myself into being pro Sheamus for this Saturday night's main event, which is weird. This would be the first time ever that I would be, like, rooting against Braun. But it's kind of a win-win for me. It's just a win-win. Like, no matter what, I'm going to be happy.
Been a dog since day one, bro. You've already been woofing since fucking... That's interesting, but I respect it.
Like I said, it'll be a win-win for me. It'll be a win-win. If Sheamus wins it, that's history. That's awesome. If Braun wins, still the big dog.
Still a dog.
Fuck it. So the last thing I wanted to get your opinions on here today was, do you think Damian and Finn are done? Because I think they are.
It should be done after this.
I feel like it's pretty much over, right?
Fucking done after this. Bro.
Like, how many more times does Damian have to beat this fool and beat the shit out of the Judgment Day and call Finn a bitch while he does it and say you're not my brother anymore?
It's done after
like,
this
it's
match.
gotta be,
over,
right?
Bro.
It's gotta
Especially the whole thing. Not to get ahead, but the whole fucking taking him off the fucking gurney and shit, bro.
Well, yeah. No,
you can, literally.
Yeah, that was wild.
It could have ended there, just like if you.
When they came back from the commercial and I saw him there, I was like, oh shit. Is he actually fucked up?
If they wanted to continue the story, that's how they probably would have ended it. Him fucking getting pushed, carted away, and shit, all this with fucking Davis and finishing this shit, bro. It's done.
Yeah, no, that definitely, I agree with you very much there. So now I ask you, because I'm very curious, where the fuck do we go from here? Because these guys have just revolved around one another for really about almost a year.
And honestly, Caroline gave a fucking banger of a fucking match.
Yeah.
showing their potential, what they can do. So,
Yeah, no, they definitely gave us a strong match. It's just unfortunate that it came a bit
and
late.
then, but
I don't think it hit quite as hard as it could
Finn is
have.
gonna get the shitty end of the stick, as he's been getting literally for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Finn Balor, bro. Let's
Yeah.
continue the meme.
Yeah.
Finn fucking Balor, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely hasn't been made to look very strong throughout this whole feud. And unfortunately, he probably will get the short end of the stick as everyone continues to break up and go in their own separate ways. It seems hard to see Finn. I'd love to, though. I'd love to see him get back into the main event. I just don't know how we get there from where we're at right now.
And Damian, honestly, I feel like he's definitely gonna probably still get a main event push. Definitely.
Well, he's just a main eventer now. Like, they've successfully kind of built him into that, which, I mean...
People love him.
Yeah.
He's pretty decent on the mic. I want to say great, but he's pretty decent.
I think he's funny. I like him. I think he's good.
He's very personal, you can say, on the mic.
Yeah.
He's not fucking straight, flat, fucking boring.
Yeah, he's not too cookie cutter. I do feel like he's pretty authentic.
And honestly, him being a fucking big, tall ass motherfucker helps a lot.
For sure.
This shit, bro.
For sure.
Especially for the industry he's in, bro.
For sure.
So yeah, I feel like Damian is not going anywhere from the main event scene.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's like how you said, Finn is definitely probably gonna struggle to get back in there.
Do you have like a specific feud or something that you'd like to see for either of them?
Ooh.
Is there anything just off the top of your head? I'm just
Damian.
curious. For either, I mean, just where you want to see them go from here. I think at some point I want us to get to Finn and Dom, because Finn and Liv just are
I feel
constantly
like that's probably the
fucking.
next thing for Finn right now.
And so a big Finn and Dom feud would be pretty exciting.
It's probably gonna be something where fucking Finn disrespects Liv or some shit. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's gonna be one of Liv's commands.
Dom's got to defend her honor type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would like that. I would like that. As far as Damien, like, he's one that's just so much more interesting. I have no idea.
And where they can go with them, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting options there. I'll be curious to see in the Rumble if he, like, tangles with anyone, has any interesting interactions. That might be the time where we get a bit of a hint where he's really going next. But we'll see, bro. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Let's see what Papa H is cooking, bro.
You want to see Damien versus Penta?
It would be interesting how to work that.
Yeah. Because I feel like Damien could do a bit of the high flyer stuff, and then Penta obviously would be able to...
He could take the high flyer stuff.
For sure, yeah. But I mean, like, they would be able to have a bit of a paced match. Like, it'd be pretty interesting.
I don't know, and I'll be like almost Rey Mysterio versus Undertaker type of thing.
Type shit, yeah. Type shit.
I said Penta's a little taller. He's a little bit more built.
A little stronger, yeah. No, I'm just curious. Just be interesting. Damn, bro. We'll see, bro. We'll see.
That'd be
Just throwing
interesting.
it out there.
We'll see, bro.
Just throwing it out here for my Penta Mark over here, bro. I'm just throwing it out there.
Shut the fuck up, bro.
You know how they had Penta Dark?
Oh, Penta Mark,
You
yeah,
just
bro.
on Penta Mark.
I'm about to hit you with this fucking belt, dog. That's what I'm about to do right now.
This was a Pentagon Mark. Oh, that's fucking funny. Oh, shit. I don't know, man. Damien, I like to see him wrestle Drew. I think that's a good matchup. Just two big boys. Let them beat the shit up at each other.
That would be interesting. How would that start, though?
I don't know.
How would that start? How would they cross
Walking
paths
down
each
the
other?
hallway, bump shoulders into each other, and just fucking boom.
Because before it's because it was for the world heavyweight. That's why
Yeah,
they were talking shit
yeah.
to each other. But
No, yeah, I remember that little bit of... I like them together. It's a good physical matchup. I'm just throwing some random names out there.
I respect it because they're both good workers in the ring, bro. And that's what they both do very well. And they got fucking a good fucking worker with that they're working with. They're gonna perform a fucking banger like today with Finn Balor and
Damien versus KO.
That's interesting.
Because Damien's just going to say, hey, calmado, compa.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Calmado, amigo.
Take it easy.
I like it. Shit, bro.
That's another one, bro.
Fuck.
Look at me.
Fuck it, man.
Whoever watching this clip, shout out to you, bro. Champions, bro. See me yellow, bro. Next WWE champion is gonna be bro's gonna be Cody at WrestleMania, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna fucking win the Money in the Bank and cash in? Cody's gonna beat Roman Reigns, and then
Penta Cubs cash in.
Seed Yellow's gonna fucking hit. That was fucking. You never know, bro.
I think I do, but
No,
I'll let you have your dream. Oh, boy.
Shit, dude.